I was a pretty good high school player. I kind of was a late bloomer, I guess to say, and um, I had a lot of potential. I just never really, had an idea of how to go about playing, and kind of the course of my time here, especially from my freshman and sophomore year, and definitely my sophomore junior year. Coach Nichols definitely instilled upon me a sense of responsibility as far as to lead the team by example and lead the team by work ethic and kind of making sure that I did everything I possibly could to become the best player I could possibly be while I was here. And that was something I took to heart, and something that I made sure that every single day that that's the way I went about whether it was practice, whether working out, whether it was school, whatever it was. And it's kind of the same mentality I have today. As my dad, we were in the car and we were driving away. We'd kind of had the full day here, spent a day on a visit and kind of done all this and that. And we were going, getting ready to get on I-40, head back to East Tennessee. And I looked at my dad, I was like, that's where I'm gonna go. And he's kind of like, really? After just doing a day. And we called Chattanooga and said, hey, I won't be coming. And called the guys later that evening. It was like 11:30, and I called Ryan and I said, I don't know what the process is to go about doing this, but I said, I'd like to come. And he was like, really? And I remember that conversation like it was yesterday. And we talked to Coach Nichols and got him on the phone. And by the time that I'd made it back to Tennessee, back to Oak Ridge where I grew up, it was finalized. Just needed the paperwork done, and that was pretty cool. An hour drive with my dad, and I think that he was surprised that I'd made the decision so fast. But I met the guys, and the guys made it everything. Coach Nichols was a huge part of it. Kim was like my mom, away from home, and it was a huge impact as far as making sure I did everything I was supposed to do while I was at school. And Miss Wheatley was unbelievable. And the whole experience that kind of went into making the visit what it was, was an easy sell for me. I'd been in school roughly a semester, and we go to this Hall of Fame dinner, and I was, being a 18, 19-year-old kid, not paying attention, not really doing what I was supposed to be doing. And we got done, and Coach Nichols kind of pulled me aside, and he said, I need to speak with you when we're done today. And I was like, oh man, I'm like, he didn't see this guy do this, he didn't see this guy do that. And I was like, man, I did I was bad, but I wasn't as bad as everyone else. And he kind of pulled me aside, and there was like 5 people left in the little auditorium there. And I remember this conversation like it was yesterday. He said, son, do you realize the opportunity you have here? And I, kind of blew him off a little bit. And I respected him, but I was more or less just kind of over being there for the day. And he said, if you do what you're supposed to, you'll be the best player that's ever played here without question. And I was kind of like, huh? And I mean, I was 18 at the time, and I was blown away the fact that he saw that in me. I mean, when I hadn't really done anything in college golf, I mean, I'd had one top 5 finish, and that was really it. And kind of from that moment is, I realized his belief in me, and I mean, it took a little bit more of his belief in me to start believing that in myself, but over time I eventually got there. Giving myself an opportunity to understand what it was to be a good collegiate player and understood what went into being a good student athlete was something that Coach Nichols helped kind of instill, and that's something that I, was very happy to have his leadership and guidance while I was here. And he was Tennessee Tech golf, and still is the memory of him is all over the place, especially wherever you go, wherever the Tennessee Tech golf team goes as well. The process of getting to the PGA Tour and playing golf for a living is something that, a lot goes into it, but a lot comes out of it. An opportunity to showcase your talent on the best course in the world against the best players in the world is a dream come true, and to do it over the course of the last few years has been something that, I mean, it's been all worth it. The hard work, the doing doing the little things that go a long way, and doing the things that no one sees. And you don't really feel like you're getting full credit for it because you're doing it, you're not doing it to prove a point. You're not doing it to show people how hard you work. You're doing it because it's going to help you get better. And that's the gratifying part, teeing it up in big events, with the best players, and knowing that, hey, I've put forth the effort to get me here is something that, obviously it was difficult, but it's well worth it. Yeah, the week is not just Thursday through Sunday. The easiest part of the week is Thursday through Sunday. I like, you know, if all I had to do was tee off Thursday and play through Sunday, I'd play every week. But you know, the travel and the outings and the sponsor obligations and making the PGA Tour what it is. I mean, the PGA Tour is giving away $2 billion, and it doesn't happen by just us showing up and playing. I mean, there's a lot of sponsor obligations. There's a lot of opportunities to work with charities in local areas that we go, and to be a part of that with, especially my wife, as far as the Tour Wives Association, has been pretty cool to be able to give back to the communities that we are, every single week. And I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we don't have an event there. We have a nationwide or a web.com event there, but to pour into the communities that we're a part of that one week is a big part of the tour, and a big part. It's very important to my wife and myself, and that all goes into the challenges of a week. And while it's worth it and necessary, it's definitely something that has to be accounted for in terms of preparation, in terms of what goes on in it's a 44-week season, but I roughly play around 30. The hardest to face off the tee? I don't know. I never really thought about it like that. I know that there's some guys that you don't really want to be in that position, but if you are in the position, you're doing something well. And you had the opportunity to come down the stretch with Tiger at Memorial a few years ago, and we both played poorly on Saturday, and he looked at me on Sunday, and I think we both shot 74 or 75 that day, and he looked at me and said, 66 tomorrow, and we're in a playoff. And I was just blown away at the fact that we both played awful that day, and he was already counting the score of what it was going to take to win. And I want to say he said 67, which would have been 5 under, and he shot 66 the next day to win by 2. And I saw him later, I was like, how did you know that? He's like, I've done this a time or two. I think that was his 75th win or whatever, something ridiculous. And I learned a lot from him in that regard. Coming down the stretch with 4 holes, to have an idea of what it's going to take, and to understand the ebbs and flows of your emotions that come down. That there's not really one person you want to be in the hunt with, or one person you worry about, because you can only control what you can control. I can't worry about what he's doing or this and that, but you kind of always know what he's doing, regardless of where he is on the course. My rookie year at Greenbrier, I obviously I was very fortunate to win, but to go and I bogeyed the 17th hole in regulation, and I had to birdie 18 to get in a playoff. And it's a a cool par 3, really cool amphitheater setting, and I hit a shot, hit a 9-iron in there, and hit it 4 feet, and then to go back and do it in the playoff and hit almost the exact same shot was pretty awesome. And it's definitely something that I call upon a lot, and it's pretty cool to look back on that moment, to be able to do it under the most pressure I've ever felt and be able to pull it off and do it again. My biggest accomplishment, I feel like it was a personal goal of mine to get Coach Nichols to the NCAA tournament. He'd never been in 30 years of coaching, both with the girls or the guys, and to be the first to take him to the NCAA tournament, be the first All-American. They've had a lot of academic All-Americans, but not like, in regards to, results on the golf course. And that was pretty cool to be the first guy that's done that for him, and especially towards the latter end of his career as a coach, was pretty awesome to be able to share in a lot of experiences with him on an individual basis. We did a lot of things as a team that were really cool, but my junior and senior year, I spent more time with him as an individual than anyone else, just based on some cool things that I had done. And there's a lot of life lessons and a lot of things that he probably would rather me not say in public, but that he kind of taught me throughout the way. But those are definitely special times that I felt very fortunate to be a part of his life at that particular point. And he was a huge influence in my life, and especially in my career. I don't know if I'd give it a grade. I'd say pretty good. I'm 28 years old. I have a beautiful wife, and I have a beautiful son, and I've had a little bit of success on the PGA Tour, and I get an opportunity to do what I love every single day, and that's good enough for me. I'm trying to get better every single day, and I'm trying to do the things necessary to play at a high level, and but I'm not going to do whatever. I'm not going to sacrifice any time with my family or to take away from that in any way. So I understand that there's give and take on both sides, but I'm very thankful for the life that I have, and I'm very thankful for the opportunities that Tennessee Tech and golf have given me. And so I wouldn't necessarily give it a grade. I'd say pretty good.